into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome, everybody, to an epic episode of AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. I am your host, Anna Koppel, and here with me today, a very funny man. You may know him as the one with a creepy relationship with his mom on TBS comedy Sullivan and Son. He has a hilarious hour special, High Five Till It Hurts. His new series premieres tonight on the Esquire Network, and he's just a hair shorter than the NBA height average. Owen Benjamin.
Am I close to, what's the average?
The average is 6 feet 7.62 inches.
So I'm 0.62 off.
You're 0.62 off. Just miss it. But you can still play because it's the average.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like I should be better at basketball than I am.
Yeah, I feel like you should be too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay though.
Yeah.
You have so many other strengths.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really stoked that you're here, and I just want to point out that had you not inappropriately touched my friend's face, none of this would be possible.
That's the best way to just say hello.
Yeah.
Just a face touch.
Just to stroke a man's face.
Yeah. Just stroking a man's face shows a lot of different things. It shows friendship, trust, passion, a little bit of vulnerability on my part.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm thrilled because here you are now.
Oh, yeah.
And life works out.
I'm super pumped.
I'm pumped too. So anyway, Owen, let's get into this. Your dad is an opera singer.
Yeah.
Right? And also a professor of rhetoric.
Yeah.
Mother is a literature professor, but also a published author.
Yeah.
You are easily the most well-read man I know of. Been playing piano since you were 2.
Thank you.
What? Well, hey.
You know stuff.
I know stuff. So why comedy and not academia? Like, was there a moment for you, you're like, hey, I'm funny, this is the route I'm going?
It's, no, because I don't even consider myself that funny. I just think I'm good at public speech and, dissecting things. I think I like human nature a lot, and I think I have a good instinct, where I feel what people, like the problems in their life or like what they relate to, and I just kind of go with that. But I know, like, my brother is significantly funnier than I am.
You think?
Yeah, but he just wouldn't. He would be horrible at all the rejection involved in Hollywood.
Okay.
Like if he didn't get one audition, he'd just be like, I'm gonna burn this shit down.
I can see that. But that whole dissecting thing, you think that comes from Dad?
Yeah, both of them. I mean, they're both very, like, just the most liberal, open-minded people. Like, I can't explain it. Like, more so than a lot of the liberal, open-minded people in L.A., because I almost feel like some of them are, like, liberal Nazis.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
It's like a truly open-minded person is also open-minded to, like, religion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if that's your thing, great.
Yeah.
Like, that's how my parents are. They literally don't judge stuff.
That's awesome.
So academia, I originally wanted to be a lawyer, but it wasn't for, like, money. It was because I wanted to just perform for, like, the 12 people in the jury box. I always wanted, because I love persuasion, where I wanted to, like, convince them that my client was innocent. That was, like, my thing. And then I did an internship with one of my dad's former students, and I realized that it's not like that. It's mostly contracts and bullshit.
Yeah.
So I bailed on that. And then I started playing piano for weddings. And I realized my favorite part was doing songs, like songs for the bride and groom that were funny. And I liked, making it fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's where it's at. It's about the laughs.
Yeah.
Because if you play only classical music, people look at you in a way that isn't real. Like, if I'm playing, like, Canon and D, they're like, oh, you're such, like, a beautiful soul. I'm like, nah, I'm not. So that's why I wanted to say weird stuff to it.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And now you are convincing a room of people to laugh, so.
It's sales.
Yeah.
It's totally sales.
Totally.
Yeah.
Really cool. Tell me about your first show. Do you remember the first joke that you told?
Oh, wow. I mean, this is my first job in comedy. I was a heckler at a Renaissance Festival in high school.
I knew that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So I would be in the stocks and people would pay to throw tomatoes at me, and that was my first.
Hilarious.
It's just 9-hour sets.
That's amazing.
That's why it's like when people are like, you got to put together 50 minutes, it's like, dude, I can do 9 hours.
9 hours.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't be good at all on a special. It's just it's all crowd work when you're a heckler.
Yeah.
Like there's no good material, but you can just, it would just be all day long having to attack people. But it wouldn't be mean because I wouldn't have judgment on them. It's what they have pride in.
Yeah. So you would attack their like insecurities, I guess, or
Yeah, and there's like a lot of things that I learned where it's like I never attacked women. I would sexualize women because
women are sexualized anyway now.
Well, yeah. Well, in that situation, it's like if I was to attack like a physical thing about a woman, they're not going to throw tomatoes at me because I was getting a percentage. I needed throws.
Okay.
Like if they bailed,
wait.
I got like 10% of all tomatoes thrown. Like I got cash. Yeah. So I needed engagement. Yeah. All right. So
this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life. Okay.
I'm like here, right? And I have a gypsy. His name was Boob.
Okay.
I literally think that's his real name. Like
Boob
the gypsies are like legit.
Why not?
So every tomato thrown, I would get 10% of whatever the money came in on. So I needed engagement.
Okay.
So the best way, and I was like 16, 17, like, in your 30s, it'd probably be a different dynamic. But if I attacked women, like I made fun of them, they wouldn't throw. They'd be like, they might giggle but feel uncomfortable and walk away. But if you're like talking about how hot someone's wife is and how she's like feels neglected at home and she needs some more action in her life, she's gonna throw for the attention, and then the dude will throw because he's angry, and then their kids are gonna throw for different it's like the most amount of throws.
That's really smart.
I mean, it was a necessity.
Yeah.
I was there literally having food thrown at my face. It was like I was backed into a corner where I had to figure out what to do.
Right.
And like 400-pound dudes don't care about fat jokes. They don't care. If you're like, hey, you're fat, it's like, yeah, I know. But if someone's like 15 pounds overweight, they spiral. That's what I mean about it's all pride.
Interesting.
Like gay dudes don't do gay jokes for. They're like, yeah, I'm gay. Like yeah.
Right.
Like super ripped like Nickelback guys spiral because their whole definition is based on being masculine.
Yeah.
So you just flip it.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Thank
really
you.
good. So from that, I've heard you say that you have like a Sinatra approach to entertainment, like leave him smiling, leave him laughing.
Always, yeah.
So, but when did that develop? Because I feel like that's different from heckling the whole crowd.
Well,
right?
heckling, the funny thing is they would they would still leave happy because it was like when they saw, it's almost what Lampanelli does, where when she hates the whole crowd the same, there's a real equality in that. There's like an egalitarian nature of like, all the boundaries drop, and it's like once you get that flow where everyone realizes there's no judgment in it, it actually can be very soothing and calming where people leave like, I swear to God, I think that it sparks sexuality in couples.
Interesting.
Where it's like you're just attacking the guy and he's like throwing for honor of the chick, and then they blast me in the face. That's the thing, I always lose.
Yeah.
It's like they get to hit me.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just being like, you suck. It's like, you suck, and then they have to, and then like, and then he blasts me in the face, and then the chick's probably like a little turned on by her guy.
Well, it's probably totally a turn on because in real life, in a real situation, you're a giant man, right?
Right.
So to see like her guy be able to sort of
Dominate me. I let them put headphones
sure.
on the table. Yeah. The guy will dominate me, and then when you sexualize the wife, oddly, like sometimes I think dudes will forget how hot their wives are, and then when they see it through another person's eyes, like because I'm a complete non-threat. I'm literally in a stock. Like,
right.
I mean, it doesn't get more of a non-threat. So it's like at that point they're like, oh yeah, my wife is like hot.
Yeah.
Because people get numb in these routines.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but my first stand-up set was opening for Kevin Hart, which is insane. I was in college, SUNY Plattsburgh.
Wait, time out. Your first
First set all time, ever.
Opening for Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
What is your life? Like how
But he was a college act at the time. I was in a cafeteria.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was, we were young. And he came, and he was funny. My first set was 30 minutes before Kevin Hart, and it was great. I always did really well. The only time I started bombing was like when I had to do 4 minutes. Like when I was in LA, that's the first time I felt. I always did really well in college. I opened for Greg Fitzsimmons. He's one of my favorite comics. And he came to my college, and I got to open for him. That went great. It always went great. I'm naturally good at it. But then when they're like, you have 4 minutes, I start bombing. Like, literally, I still bomb now. But, like, new jokes you never know.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to do.
The short sets. Because
Yeah.
you have so little time to sell it.
Right.
It's like, it has to be so material-driven.
Right.
Because,
Right.
I mean, I've opened for Julio Iglesias. It's like, I've opened for a crowd of 5,000 people where I'd say 80% don't speak English.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Same agency.
Just
Yeah, and like, I don't turn on the crowd. And
Right.
that's just huge. Even if you bomb, like, silence, you know, some comics will just spiral and be like, well, the thing about you guys, it's like not about you. They're there to see Julio Iglesias.
Right.
So just keep pretending like it's great.
just keep moving
Yeah, just,
forward.
and like, the more, you know, bomb bad, but be very nice about it, so that when he goes out, it's even more exciting. Because it's
So-
like, finally, that guy's out of there, the gringo.
So, but did Julio enjoy your stuff? Is
Yeah,
that,
totally.
He's like,
He's
great.
like, you're very funny. And he touched my face.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh, and so that's where you got it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. In your sets, you play piano,
Mm-hmm.
and you play a lot of Beethoven.
Yeah, love Beethoven.
Yeah. How come? What is it about him?
What do I like? I love how dark he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just super passionate music that just, like, it just, you know what that is immediately.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, some piano players are too good. He wasn't too good. Like even Mozart battled that. You know, it's almost like Marilyn Monroe needed a mole. You know, it's like, you can't be too good. Like Mozart, sometimes he's so much better at piano than Beethoven. I mean, Beethoven's insanely good, but it's like, or like Liszt, some of these guys are so good that it becomes very detached and not emotional. Because it's just, I don't know, you just
Right.
don't really relate. It's almost like reading E. Cummings, where you're like, this is probably amazing, but I don't
yeah.
understand what he's doing.
Do you think it's because he was also deaf? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, the deafness, that's just, I mean, he wrote Ode to Joy deaf. The craziest thing about Beethoven is his happiest music was after he went deaf.
Yeah.
Ode to Joy
Yeah.
was deaf.
You were just telling me that you're an auditory learner.
I am.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
I can't spell very well at all.
Which really surprises me.
It's one of those things that I just can't do, like restaurant. And then Patrice O'Neill did a bit
Wait,
about
restaurant
that.
you can't spell? So
I still can't. I mean, it
That's
still
okay.
is like, do you mean restraint? Restaurant? Like that U makes no sense to me. It never will.
Okay.
Because I think in terms of meaning, where it's like, what does the U mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. Well, we have like a very has a very strange.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It's like disease. I don't understand.
Yeah.
don't
The
know.
OUGH will get me every time.
It's very Germanic. You can tell it's almost like cultures. I don't know what's first, the culture or the language, but Germanic languages are very like, don't ask why the K is there. You know, and you're like, okay. It's very like, it's like kind of Nazi-ish.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you don't ask why E silent. And then all the Latin languages I spell a lot better. Like, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and it spells the way it sounds.
Yeah.
Like cerveza. Like, yo soy. It's like, makes sense.
Right.
Donde? It's like, I get it.
Yeah.
And then that language is very gender polarizing. And and so is their culture. You watch Telemundo, or like, they're like slapping chicks.
Yeah.
It's like a very like male, female, you know, and everything has a gender in that language. Like
Yeah.
La Luna, it's like a woman, and then like El Patron, you know, everything's either male or female, and then you see that in the culture, and then you go to Germany, and there's not really that same divide, or like Scandinavian languages.
I think I heard you talking about this a little bit on your podcast, Why Didn't They Laugh?
Yeah.
Which I think is such a brilliant concept. And do you want to tell the people a little bit in case they don't know about?
Oh, why didn't they laugh? It's I think that we're spoiled a little bit living in LA and New York, because you get to see the greatest comics and artists in the world perform at like little shows. You know, I've been on shows this week with like, hey, Daniel Tosh is up next, and then we got Jeff Ross is popping in, and Chappelle's working on a new 8 minutes, and you
Yeah.
get to see the struggle of it. Louis C.K., Bill Burr, the best comics in the world, you'll see them bomb. Not bomb the whole set. They'll never bomb the whole set. Just like jokes. And you can see them being like, why didn't they laugh at that?
Right.
And then the rest of the world just sees the polishness of it. Like they see the specials. And one thing I find fascinating about comedy is you never get the answer. It's like you can do it. You can put in your 10,000 hours like Gladwell tells you to, and you still aren't an expert.
Yeah.
Like you're still like, okay, this is great. This concept's gonna blow everyone's mind, and they just do that, and then you just are talking about nonsense, and they just die laughing, and you're like, what is it? So then this podcast originally started with just me talking. Honestly, it's because I tried to do a co-host thing with my friend Roy Wood Jr. It was going to be called White Guy, Black Guy. But our schedules were so insane that I was like, this is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it would show a joke I try on a Thursday, bomb, and then what I do to make it work between Thursday and Sunday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the tweaks and all the social factors and the environmental factors and like how drunk the crowd is, like what part of the country it is. You know, did a fork just drop? Like my tone.
Yeah.
You know, it's all so intricate.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool that you're willing to share that, and I think it shows like a great sort of vulnerability in you personally, but also, you know, these are like trade secrets that you're sort of giving away. I think that's so cool.
The best
of you.
comedy is no secrets, though.
Agreed,
Yeah.
but I don't know that everybody feels that way or has that sort of confidence.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so I think that's really
I love
cool.
that. I love to be like, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. The diehard fans of my podcast don't laugh as much when they see me now.
Really?
Yeah. It's
they're
funny.
like, "Oh, we wrote this all."
No, but they appreciate it. Like after they're like, oh, I saw what you did with that joke with a different word. Like you flipped a word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because it's almost like magic. Or if
Totally.
you know, it's like, here's the thing, you know, here's the rabbit.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, I know where the rabbit was. It's like, but that's why I don't like magic, because I don't like people that are like tricking you. Like they're,
Right.
you know, I'm amazed by it. Don't get me wrong, I have friends that are magicians and they're cool. But I never really wanted to be the guy that's like, where's the pen?
Right.
You know, I want to be like, no, this is just what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Do a good job at that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Did I hear that you're writing a book?
Yeah, well, I'm pitching a book soon, but I did an outline, and I'm pumped about it. It's called "Did I Do Good?" About men, just about how men think, because I think that there's a really weird gender thing going on where people are having a hard time defining like who they are, and I can't speak on behalf of women whatsoever. So I'm just going to talk about men and what I feel. So it's a funny look at it because I'm a comic. That's what I bring to the table is humorous. But it's basically like what it means to be a guy, because so many things that I see are polarizing. It's either the game where you're like just a douchebag, like how to manipulate women for sex. That's not being a man. And then on the flip side are these like very emasculated, you know, even dad can do it. Oh, I'm so dumb.
Right.
You know, and you're like, that's not a man either. It's
Right.
like, what is being a man, you know?
Right.
So, you know, one of the main tenets of being a man is service, where it's like that whole concept of like, is this good? Like, did I do good? Because we seek approval. It doesn't matter if you're the president or a busboy. You're all, like, men constantly are seeking approval, where it's like, is this going to make you happy? And I do a lot of bits about that, but that's the major premise of the book.
I have to tell you, I'm going to read your book because just your sets, your comedy alone, like I've taken that into my own relationship and used that. I'm like,
it's true. 'Cause
yeah,
relationships.
totally.
I mean, that's the thing about our culture is it ends with the I do. Every one of our myths, like Cinderella, it's I got him, and that's when the story ends, and that's
Right.
when the real everything starts.
Right.
Where it's like, how do you keep it going, and how do you like. How, you know, because there's two separate relationships in every relationship between there's love and sex, and they're not always the same. Like you can go through periods where you and your girl or you and your guy, like you hate each other, but you're just banging all the time, and other times you never felt more in love and you're not banging, and you're like, and then you feel really in love and you're banging, and then you hate and you're not it's like, and it's very confusing, and it's like, why is all this happening? And I think I love my mom's look on the world. She's always looks at the broad strokes. Like if I was ever depressed, she would assume I was dehydrated. You know, she doesn't even engage in the problem.
Wow.
And she's right typically. Where I'd be like, "Mom, I can't get out of bed. I think and she's like, "Drink water." And then you drink water and you're like, oh, like we're just animals.
Yeah,
you know,
wow.
I think like putting in work, like physical labor, like men love physical labor, and we don't do it really enough anymore. And it really messes up our brain. Like we're pack animals. Like we follow leadership very well. It's like someone should just say run, and we run.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I run every day, and that's why I'm like, people, you know, I've lost weight. Like in the House Bunny, I was like 50 pounds heavier, and I played, you know, I was shirtless, and I was the butler of the Playboy Mansion, and my dumbass didn't even get in shape for it. But I'm in much better shape now, and it's not because I wanted to look better. It's because that's the only way that I can maintain mental clarity. It's just extreme physical exertion.
I think that's really, I wanted to ask you about you at some point decided, right, I'm going to have like this healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? What made you decide to do that?
Got to give full credit to two people, Vince Vaughn and Kevin Lilly. Kevin Lilly is a trainer. And I was just working out at Crunch, and my buddy Dan Levy, do you know Dan Levy? He's a comic.
No.
He's a great comedian.
Okay.
And so I see Dan, and he's working out with this dude, Kevin, and he introduced me to him, and I'm like, I don't need a trainer. I'm relatable, man. But I was depressed. I just didn't realize I was depressed. I had no idea. And he did the thing that people are so scared to do now, is he was like, bro, you're fat. And I was like, no, no, man. Don't shame me. You know, what the culture's become. It's like, no. That's why, okay, this is another thing that I think about. Like, men and women are different. I would feel so much more uncomfortable shaming a woman for something than a man. I think shame for a man is great.
Okay.
Like, women a lot of times will react the opposite to what you attack them for. That's why I do understand the don't shame me movement for women. To me, that makes more sense just based on my experience.
Right.
Like, if you're like, you're a slut, like women are like, I'll show you slut, and they react the other way. Right. Men, it really works. If you're like, you're fat, it's like, shit. And then you have to like, change.
Okay.
You know, that's, I don't know. But so anyway, and then when, so I started working with him, and I was on tour with Vince Vaughn, who had put on some weight, and his back was hurting him, and he got really into nutrition with this nutritionalist who has this great place on Melrose, Glow.io. She's like all about blending stuff. Okay. And so we got really into blending kale, and Vince will sell you on anything. Like, Vince Vaughn is like, literally, he's like, baby, I'm telling you, it's like kale, you blend it up, and it like makes your body feel like you're on fire. Like, he literally could make you eat like grass.
Yeah.
Like, he just has that way where he's like, you're putting the carrots in there, and your body just starts freaking out, and you just get excited. He's like, baby, I'm telling you, almond milk is the whole thing. It's the whole move. And then, and him and his wife would get all excited. He's like, baby, tell everyone about the pizza we're making. There's no gluten. It's like this whole thing. And his excitement is so real that I literally, because I like following people. I can take leadership positions well, but I also like love when there's just a great alpha in the room where I'm like, is that what I do? Yeah. So I started blending, and then Kevin got me into working out, and then I was just like, that's it. Now I don't eat as stringent. You know, I'll like eat ice cream. I like crush Talenti ice cream. I can't get enough of that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I run like 10 miles a day, you know, easily.
That's amazing.
Just listen to audiobooks, and just, because I live on the beach, I just run on the sand. It's just like heaven. You know, it's not like a thing I have to do. It's not like, oh, I got to hit the gym. It's like, please let me run with the blue sky and the water.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Oh, my God, it's insane.
Dude, what does Vince Vaughn smell like?
Success and masculinity.
You had an answer ready for that. That's great.
It's true. He just smells like, he's just alpha. That's what I love about him, because he's good at it.
Yeah.
Some people shouldn't be celebrities. Some people should. Like, some people, like, you'll hang out with a super famous person that you can tell is a really good person, but they're not comfortable in that role.
Yeah.
Like, when people are like, can I grab a picture? And, you know, like the Kristen Stewart, like, don't look at me, you know? And then you have the people that are like, start a line, but don't start it right now because I got a whole situation. You know, Vince can handle it. Adam Sandler handles it. Like, these people are like silverbacks. It's like they get it. You know, they can also like kill you emotionally. You know, they have that dictator sense.
Sure.
But I just respect it. I respect when you can see someone comfortable in that leadership role, because it makes men really comfortable. We're just like, oh, whatever you, yeah. So we run at the machine gun? It's like, okay.
Yeah. Really cool. In a lot of your jokes, I noticed that you sort of, one of your go-to names is Tina, like in your when your Starbucks panisse joke, and like men have capitalist relationships, women have communist relationships.
Yeah.
Is that because you dated Christina Ricci, or is it
No.
coincidental?
No, Tina always. No, is Tina short for Christina?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I always thought of it. I like Tina Turner.
Okay.
Like, is that
That's what you have
Christina
in
Turner?
mind?
Well, just any Tina. To me, it's how a word sounds, where it's like Tina, or like Brittany. It's like there's names that are funny. Like some like Anna it's like more just like a comfortable, like beautiful. It's like Anna. It's like Tina.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's like, it's not like a bad name. It's a great name, but for me, it's just how it sounds comedic. Where it's like a funny male name is Gary.
It's my dad's name.
Yeah, there's a
He's
lot
hilarious.
of Garys. Yeah, but there's like it's like Gary, or like I don't know, Fabrizio, but it's more of a last name.
It's too long.
Yeah, it's like an obvious joke. It's funny because I do this bit about Snapped. Did I do that bit that night?
Yeah.
And
remember, I told my dad knows the woman who does the voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I was doing that bit the other night, and my friend Brian Doyle Murray played Hank on Sullivan and Son. He like wrote Caddyshack, living legend. So me and him stayed friends, and his wife's name's Tina, and I'm in the middle of the joke, and I realized that the characters are Tina and Brian, and I always just do that. Brian, Tina, it just sounds so funny to me.
Yeah.
And I switched the names mid-joke to like not, because I realize, I'm like looking at them, I'm like, oh man, it's like their names. And then, so I switched the names, and then after he was like, why'd you switch the name mid-joke? Because it like didn't make sense, because he's like so brilliant at like narrative that he's like, I was committed to those names. You know, and I just didn't know how to be like, because that's you guys' names, that I felt weird. So I was just like, I don't know, it's just in the moment.
Yeah.
It's I don't know why I picked the names I picked. No, because I have no animosity at all to Christina Ricci. Like, she's a cool chick. We just had a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really had bitterness towards exes. I've been sad, but I've never been like, they're the worst.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's always just been like, what is the answer? Like, I'm more, I go more internal, where I'm like, what's the meaning of everything?
Yeah.
It's never about them, it's just like, you just think, like, what happened?
But you're in a very happy relationship now, right? So what's different about this relationship? What makes it work where others haven't?
I think part of it is just the time in your life.
Yeah.
It's also about like being able to laugh together, huge. It's just like I don't know. I don't have the answer to it.
Okay.
It's just like it's always work, but it's like you find because it's just killing our culture to think that things just work.
Right, yeah.
It's just
or they don't, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm working on this longer bit about fantasies, about porn versus like female movies, and about how like I'm trying to work on this bit about how DiCaprio has to die every movie because that needy vibe they'd hate if he didn't die. Because it's like every one of his characters is like this, this very passionate, needy like maniac, and and he dies. Romeo and Juliet dead, Departed dead, Titanic dead. Gangs in New York dead. He always is like this thing and then has to die.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because you go through what life would really be like with the guy from The Notebook or the guy.
I was just talking about that with my boyfriend, actually. I was just like, he was a psychopath in real life.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Psychopath.
Completely
or like all
frightening
these,
restraining order.
But yeah, I mean, Magic Mike. I mean, dating a male stripper or like Christian Grey. That's basically American Psycho. It's the same character as Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And it's the same the other way too, though. It's like when you really picture porn scenes that like men are drawn to, like pizza guy getting a triple BJ. So I do a bit about that. It's hard to make the bit work because people have a hard time getting past like the fact that it seems like I'm bragging that I would know that, but it's an abstract thought where I'm like, so I go through all the sequences of events where you're like, if you have a pizza job, like I've been a pizza delivery guy, it's like you need money. You're not, you need that $13.
Right.
But it's like, oh, we're all gonna blow you. It's like, all right. And I'm like, the problem with triple blowjobs is no one picks up pace, and there's always a weak link.
Okay.
And then it becomes very performative. It's more about them than you. So you're having a hard time getting a rhythm or staying. Your pizza's getting cold. You're not thinking you're going to get fired. One of them's clearly like has a lot of emotional problems, and you want to like put a blanket around her. And then one's using the teeth. And, like when you really think about what that is, it's so much better to just be with your chick. Or like in the other way, where it's like you don't want the notebook guy. Like you don't want that like guy that you leave him and he builds you a house like and rows a boat and like grows a beard
and like threatens to kill himself if you don't go out with him.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No.
And I just wonder why we do that. Why we're always looking for that different thing.
Who decided that it was a good idea? I don't understand the whole 50 Shades and even like
I have theories.
Yeah, right. Even
I have theories
beauty,
about it.
Well, what's your theory?
I think that was a retaliation to. I think that women have had it very hard for like thousands of years.
Okay.
And then there was a major swing towards female empowerment, which is great. Mm-hmm. But there was some weird things that came with that, where it's like. Don't say these things like that offends women. But and then, it was like that recoil to just being like pounded.
Okay.
Because when like 50 Shades is about a dude like this like sex addict who's just like tying her up and just fucking her and like, and the fantasy a few years before was Twilight, where no one's touching. Mm-hmm. It's all just this pendulum that's going woo. Woo. Like, am I a sex object? I don't want to be a sex object. Don't make me a sex object. Then it's like, pound me, pound me, pound me. And it's like, don't make me a sex. And these fantasies are so contradictory. And I was doing some scientific research on it.
Okay.
And one thing I read was that This Is Your Brain on Music and This Is Your Brain on Sex are two great books about neurology. Okay. And women release different hormones whether they're ovulating or not ovulating. Mm-hmm. And it changes the type of men they're attracted to, and if they're monogamous, the qualities in their guy. Where when you're ovulating, you want that like lumberjack pound session, and when you're not, you want the sensitive accountant vibe, because you want the good dad and the good genes. So it's like women are on a 28-day pendulum, and guys are on a 60-year cycle.
Wow.
Where you shoot up, and then you're like, and then you slowly decline, and women have that whole like. Ovulation, the best gene, and then it's the best dad, and then the best genes and the best dad. And that's why you have Jacob the werewolf and, the professor vampire. Mm-hmm. And it's like the two things at the same time.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That part makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I still don't understand 50 Shades, though.
No, it's insane.
Yeah, no, it's...
I'm just trying to understand it. To me, it's bad shit.
You're never going to change a sociopath. It's never going to happen. You're never going to love him into...
no.
Yeah.
God. It's crazy.
It is.
And by the way, that guy just wanting... If that guy just wants one woman, he's going to kill her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like he has a weird relationship with his mom, right? I don't know that much. I've never seen it, but I know the broad strokes.
Yeah, I haven't either, so...
But he's a billionaire at 27. He self-started, so that means definite psychopath.
Is that definite?
If you're a billionaire and you come from like 50 million, I'm like, oh, you made a lot of great choices. You're a billionaire from zero, unless you're like Asperger's syndrome, Steve Jobs type, or like Gates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're insane. You just have no morality. You just crush and consume.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and then you have this little room full of like butt plugs, and you just want to hang glide with, like someone interviews you, and then you're obsessed with them, and you only want to be with them, but you want to put all this stuff inside her. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fucking weird.
Well, it is weird. It's weird.
What's the male equivalent, though? I mean, there's a lot of porn that's really bizarre that makes you think men are, like, weird.
Yeah, but I don't know that we have, like, a mainstream like that.
Yeah, I mean, YouPorn beats Hulu. It's
100%.
mainstream.
Yeah, 100%.
And women like porn too, but it's like I think it's just a different vibe. It's kind of like dudes can like, there's crossover, but I still think that there's more, men like porn more and women like storyline, weird 50 Shades shit.
I don't know that I would personally agree with that, but...
No, bell curve, though. Just bell curve.
Bell curve, probably.
Yeah. There's tons of, there's no set in stone anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's way crossover. I mean, there's definitely women that like porn way more than a lot of, I'm just talking like are people from Kenya probably better at long distance running?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally speaking.
Am I better at shelves than a pygmy? Like I can reach shelves, any shelf.
Okay.
Because my height.
Is your height?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, speaking of butt plugs.
My favorite transition.
Great, mine too. Talk about your new show tonight, which, by the way, is literally my dream job. Like I'm so jealous of.
Do you love hamburgers?
My whole diet for like my life has just been like burgers.
Burgers
and regret.
are good for you.
Yeah.
No, but they're good for you.
Are they?
Yeah. Meat. It's great.
Just like straight meat. And,
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's me and this dude J.J. Johnson, who has he was named like best young chef under 30 in the country. He's like on that. He's the man. He has Cecil in Harlem. You gotta check it out. It's a great place. So me and him co-host it, and he's basically like knows stuff about food.
Right.
Like he's extremely experienced in food, and I'm more of like the Paula Abdul character kind of.
Okay.
Like I'm like more,
Emotionally unstable.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't even have to fake it being ditzy in this genre. Like I literally am like, what's like mayonnaise? Like I literally say like I'm not like they'll be talking about some cheese and I'm like I like the bread. Like I'm Paul Abdul. I'm just like that. Everyone should win.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's like getting all technical. I can't even say a sentence that sounds technical.
Okay.
Like I'm a broad strokes guy. But
That's great.
The best part about it is it's funny.
Yeah.
So it's basically we judge the best burger. It's like who has the best burger in the country. And Esquire, and they went out and they found all these really interesting people who make all these elaborate burgers. Some elaborate, some simple. And my favorite thing about it is how it's shot. It's like the crowd is right around us. There's no studio audience. It's like there's 100 people. It's in the heart of St. Louis. Like Jackie. I'm not gonna. There's some guest people. Okay. It's like crazy. The diversity with age, culture, background. There's people from there's like Brazilians, French people. Black dudes from like St. Louis. And then like white people from like St. Louis, which are very different.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about comedy is seeing that 99.99999% of us we relate.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that's why the news kind of drives me crazy because it's the Hubble telescope on the little tiny things that make us different.
Yes.
So that's why shows like this, I love it because it's basically like who likes to laugh, who likes hamburgers.
Yeah.
And because my whole thing is my heckling thing helped because, I have to maintain dominance like with people right here. I'm like in the prison. I'm a guard in the prison. So I got to like attack people. And then when you see everyone laughing because it's in a good-natured way, people just get on board. And then everyone's drinking beers because like Budweiser and got behind it. So we have a brewmaster.
Cool.
Yeah, the guy, Brian Durr, his whole life is just sampling beer. And he's just pouring beers for everyone. And people will get like a good buzz on and just cooking and laughing.
So
and
fun.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And it went right to series. We did 6 episodes out the gate. And it's really funny. I'm proud of it. Because some of these, I hosted like a dog show, and I'm obsessed with dogs, but sometimes you do stuff and you're like, yeah, that's a gig.
Yeah.
I can pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
And then other
Great.
ones you're like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because the people are here, and you're just like, you can touch them.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And you get to feed off their energy.
Oh my God. And people feed off each other's energy. Once people start realizing that it's the unification of people is my favorite thing in comedy. When everyone just starts being like, so it's all bullshit that we're supposed to hate each other? Like, it's because it really is. I don't have an agenda. I don't care if people hate each other. It's like, but they shouldn't.
Right.
It's like there's no reason to.
Yeah.
Just that tribalism is, we just need software updates. We're still Bronze Age,
I really love the way that you talk about comedy and unifying people. I think it's really quite unique. I find stand-up can be a very hostile environment.
Yeah, we're like rappers, kind of. There is an element of
totally.
that.
Well, just the language can be inherently hostile. You know, like, oh, I really bombed out there. I killed the audience.
Killed, bombed.
Yeah, you know, all
it's
of
so
that
vicious.
Stuff. Yeah, so I really just admire and appreciate the way you talk. Yeah.
Murdered, destroyed.
Yeah. Totally, right?
Yeah, it's like because you get in that zone. Because I have a little of that. Because you do have to have a dictator vibe, or else the crowd can turn on you. I've had that. But when you're in a good crowd, when you're in like because that's the thing. Because this should be obvious to all men, but I'm a very consensual person. Where it's like if the crowd doesn't feel like they're totally down to like laugh and do their thing, my first instinct is to bail.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because it's not like fear or anything. I'm like, I can, like, if you guys just want to hang,
yeah.
you know? Like, I've done rooms in, like, Tampa. I love Tampa, don't get me wrong, but late shows, I mean, people are just so annihilated. Like, annihilated drunk. Where you're just looking at the crowd and they're like, did you just, like, comedy is a smart person's game. It just is. And it's emotional intelligence that everyone has if they really tap into it. And when you're up there and you realize that I'll just play Piano Man and stuff for a half hour. I will literally be like, who wants to hear Don't Stop Believing? Because I'm not going to force concepts on people that, I mean, a blacked out person's IQ is like a 20.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do callbacks. I can't do punchlines.
Right.
I can't do irony. I can't do anything.
Right.
So, but typically when, I do love that unifying aspect. But if I have a job to do and I have to be up there for 60 minutes, sometimes I can get alpha-ish, but I don't prefer that. I prefer to like have this like really nice back and forth with the crowd.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because I'm not
Really
there to
cool.
hurt anyone.
Yeah.
At all.
No, you don't come across that way, certainly.
No, I like alleviating shame in people because I think a lot of people have really unnecessary shame.
Absolutely.
Like insane.
Yes.
Like people that I've been very close to in my life, like you just see the hurt in their eyes. That's why I originally wrote Gaytown in like 06. Before it was super cool and all hashtaggy. That's why I think there's so much liberal Nazis out here.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, where were you when people were actually getting, like, killed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, now it's, like, cool.
Right. Yeah.
So I made
cool
Gaytown.
Bumper sticker, bro.
Yeah, it's like, oh, war's not the answer? What's the answer? I have a whole bit about that.
Yeah.
Full bellies, empty balls.
Yeah.
But, I have a tag for that now about how much nicer porn comments are than YouTube comments. Like, if you go on any porn clip, like, the comments are like, really great scene. Like, she's beautiful. Like, names? Like, where can I see more? And then you go on YouTube, and it's like a 5-year-old playing Bach, and it's like, this kid sucks. Because it's like one has had a release and one hasn't. So anyway, what were we talking about?
I really don't
There was a
remember.
thing that we were on like a good train.
We were.
And then it
What
was-
happened?
Oh yeah, Gaytown. So, like, the worst I would see it growing up is with gay people, because it's such an arbitrary, dumb thing to hate. It's so insanely stupid. It's the same with, like, women who sleep with dudes or sleep with women or, like, anything. It's just so, it's just such a repressive, dumb thing that I made this show called Gaytown for Sony Digital, where I was a closet heterosexual in a gay world. And it just showed the juxtaposition. It's hard to find now because I think it was in a weird time where it was on Hulu, YouTube, all that stuff, and it got a great response. People really got into it. And then I think there was legal issues, so I had to take it off YouTube because of like soundtrack or something, and now Crackle's a whole different thing. But it's out there somewhere.
But Crackle is out there now, right?
Yeah.
They're having like a whole surge.
Crackle's killing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I had to, like, instead of Mormon, there were more mans. It was like I had a boyfriend that I never had sex with. It was Payman Benz. He directs Key and Peele now. He's killing it. But so he was always this like needy, heartbroken gay guy. And I'm like, when I'm ready. And I was secretly like in love with this other girl and having sex with her. But I had to like do fantasy baseball in park bathrooms. Because I can speak
smart.
both languages. I'm like a bro. Like I get that. But I also like understand acceptance because of my parents.
Right.
That's why I love Joe Rogan, because it's like you have this alpha MMA like weed smoking like machine who's like, black holes are crazy. And that, because, okay, the best thing that ever happened to gay black males was the show The Wire, because it had Omar. Omar changed the game.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, don't hate gay people. And everyone's like, what does that mean? And then they have a character, Omar, who's openly gay and just kills people.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's a hard, like, that dude's cool. Like, gay people, I guess, are fine.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like when
But
you
they're
speak both, yeah, it's
murderers
like, yeah, they're like, no, that dude's a gangster.
Yeah.
And you know, because I experienced that down south. I used to do tree work in Atlanta. I remember a bunch of these like hillbilly guys wouldn't be friends with me because I'm from New York. Like, they're like, and finally they realized I was, you know, normal, just like them. And the way they justified it was that New York is the East.
Okay.
They go, New York's like the East, right? I'm like, buddy, it is the Union. Like, it doesn't get any more, like...
Yeah.
But it's so funny how people have to justify friendships, where it's like, yeah, he's gay, but he's cool.
Yeah, he's like the cool kind of gay. He's not like the gay kind of gay.
Yeah, I have a song called The Racism Song where... Because I think a lot of people think they're racist and they're not. They're responding to cultural cues. Where it's like, black dudes with more than one pit bull scare the shit out of me, but a black guy with a cell phone on his belt, I trust. Because it's like, and I do every race with it, where it's like teardrop tattoo versus no teardrop. You know, it's the cues.
Yeah, sure.
Same with white people. It's like white dudes like from Idaho. Already I'm like, you know, because Idaho can get intense.
How?
There's just a breed of people up there. There's a culture of like, something bad's coming.
Okay.
And so they're like, people that over prepare for the apocalypse are, they're almost like rescue dogs. Like, I have 3 rescue dogs, and like the first few months is always rough because they think that they're always being attacked. It's like when someone first comes out of jail, they don't understand sarcasm.
Right. Yeah. No, I had my dog's a rescue dog, and he used to just pee every time you went to go pet him. He would just like lay on the side and pee. Yeah.
Because they're not experiencing reality. They're like PTSD.
Yeah. That's really sad.
It's like that with people too.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's always thinking the end is coming, they don't react to reality, and they do meth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're cooking it themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're buying Sudafed, and it's not because they have a stuffy nose.
Right. They're on a list. So I feel free to not answer this if you're not comfortable, but I know that you have this healthy lifestyle. Was there ever a time that you struggled with addiction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in the way that I think a lot of... Because I do... my buddy Mick runs a room for a Narcotics Anonymous group, and we do stand-up there. And I think they're like the best audience because they're so alert.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, that's how I opened. I'm going to talk about that in this next podcast because I recorded the set. They're awesome. But I think there's different types of addiction. I think there's excessive nature, and I think there's addiction.
Okay.
And I think that I have problems with excessive, you know, where it's like I can go down, but I think everyone has addiction. And I've went through, like, I've had like a Coke phase, but it was very short because I was like, I love sleeping.
Yeah.
So I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. I don't think you're a real comic until you've had a Coke phase, right?
You gotta have a Coke. Yeah, you gotta. There's just at some point, you just are like, but it's such a letdown now, I think.
Yeah.
I know some people that love Coke. Like, I can see it in their eyes, they're like, it's the best.
Yeah.
And
I know those people.
yeah, I've never done Molly because I probably would love it because people describe it like it makes everything great. So that's a reason I won't do it because it's like, because I've been to raves without doing Molly and they're not fun. So obviously it does a lot.
Right.
Like really loud music, no water, like everyone's like touching each other.
It is hot. It's like a sauna in there. There are cockroaches running around. Yeah. You have to be on drugs.
You're in a warehouse.
Yeah.
You know, the music is like, I like house music, like if it's really good, like there's some stuff I love, but I mean, a lot of that music is just like, and that's just some trippy dude being like, you are poison. And then it's just like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need my mind expanded.
Yeah, no.
Let me see, alcohol. Yeah, I have like social addictions, I think, where it's tough for me to be around drunk people if I'm not drinking because I just feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And since I'm around so many drunk people that, I mean, I definitely have to keep that in check. I chewed tobacco for 20 years. I quit that though.
Wow.
Quit
Good for
that
you.
on my birthday a
Congratulations.
couple years ago. I was like, I'm giving myself life.
Yeah, congratulations.
'cause that
That's
was
a big
tough
deal.
one. That was tough. Oh,
20
that's
years?
addiction,
Yeah.
And that's like smoking times 10. That's mainlining it.
Yeah.
Just going right in your blood.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's about it though.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? Any addiction?
Yeah, we can talk about that some other time. Though.
Nice.
This is your interview, so
really?
yeah, this is your time. I know that you like to play Would You Rather.
Okay. Oh,
I thought maybe we could wrap up with a little Would You Rather.
Love it.
Okay, great. So would you rather have bleeding hemorrhoids
Okay.
and be gang raped once?
Okay.
Or make love, sweet love, to Pat Sajak regularly?
How regularly?
You decide regularly.
Well, that's a major factor.
Okay, well, clearly.
So,
but
like once every 6 months or like once a week?
it could be either one. You decide. But see, the gang rape is only once.
Gang
But-
rape is, how many dudes are we talking now?
5.
How black are they?
I never said they were black.
No,
I
but
wasn't-
that's a factor. How big are the hammers?
they're big.
All right. So they're big hammers, 5 dudes.
In Pat Sajak, there has to be face touching, eye contact,
Oh.
and like a lot of, can I buy an O?
Well, that's it. Well, I couldn't be aroused by, like, I couldn't make love to Sajak, but I would take Sajak, just like light touching, light kissing, over the gang rape. Because I couldn't make love to say, I mean, I'm not physically capable. I couldn't get hard. So it's not even like,
Well, what if he could, though?
then I do the gang rape. Because I'm not committing to sex with a man
For long
consistently
term.
long term, no.
Yeah, and
I
eye
do the gang
contact.
rape, yeah.
Okay. But you would be traumatized, though, I think. You're still going to have, like, those PTSD flashbacks and everything.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, yeah. But I would also be traumatized. My whole life would always be counting down the minutes till I had to let Pat Sajak fuck me.
It's true.
And that would suck.
Yeah.
At least the gang rape, you just put it behind you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right. Would you rather lick a homeless person's toes clean
Okay.
or have Cheetos fingers the rest of your life?
Have Cheetos finger. Oh, lick a homeless guy. Yeah, no
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a piano player.
And peanut butter?
No, I'm a piano player.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
a
messing
piano
with the
player.
fingers.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's
feel
no
like
question for me.
I feel like that's, but you do risk disease.
Fine. Everything.
You'd rather have disease?
You're not going to get like cancer from it, or like you might get like Hep A.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Hep C.
No.
You're not going to get malaria.
Okay.
But you might get like the flu.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah, it's
definitely
no-
get the flu.
Yeah, I mean Cheeto finger. I mean so that's no fingers because I'd smoke weed and eat my hands.
Right. Well, you could put gloves on though.
But then but it's like they would break. I mean, basically it's like, would you rather have no fingers or like a homeless guy's toes? And there's
Yeah.
no question I'd do it.
Okay.
I mean, I do that for $100,000.
I do it for 10 grand.
How dirty? When you say homeless, like how long have they been homeless for?
18 months.
Have they worn shoes most of the time they've been homeless, or are they barefoot?
I don't know what I would say a good 50-50.
Okay, well, I'd always go with the toe. I'd lick their toes right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do it just for the story.
I do it for the hell of it.
Yeah,
I do it just
why
to
not?
boost my immune system.
Yeah.
I think that's why I don't get sick much, because I was like pretty dirty as a kid.
Yeah, all my homeless toe licking. That's
No, it's like that's what makes it. There's an episode of House about that.
being a
No, it was like this guy, this porn star male, had a disease that they couldn't figure out, and it was because he had no immune system. Because as a kid, he was over-coddled. Because the more you're exposed to, the more your immune system gets.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great plan. Okay.
I was always dirty.
Would you rather be Donald Trump getting a shave with a straight edge razor in Tijuana
Okay. Oh,
or
that's a good one.
be the Tijuanan barber shaving Donald Trump?
Definite barber.
Definite?
Because it's basically like, do you want to die or have an awkward, or kill a guy? I guess, do you want to be the one getting murdered, or do you want to be a murderer?
Why is that the implication?
Because he's gonna do it.
he could be just a very kind man who understands that Donald Trump is a crazy person.
A Tijuana barber is known for not being a kind man.
Is that? I did not know that was a stereotype.
Yeah.
All
I mean, the
Tijuana
barber
barbers.
of Seville. I mean, barbers already have
But he's
a vibe.
a barber of Tijuana. He's not a barber of Seville.
Seville is doing much better economically.
Yeah, well.
So it's like you take the barber of Seville vibe and then you put it in Tijuana. I think that's an escalation of the barber stereotype.
Well, I mean, I think it could be, but I don't know that it's necessarily a given. He has a business owner, so it's not all bad.
Right. Is it just that moment, or am I now Donald Trump for life or the barber for life?
For life, both.
Trump, and then just have a huge change of mind.
You can't guarantee a change of mind.
Well,
though.
if it's me in Trump, I'd be like, guys, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still a billionaire, though.
But I don't know that, you could say, guys, I was wrong, because I feel like
You gotta commit to the mindset.
A permanent hit on your life, though, now. Don't you think that he's kind of in danger in general?
I think that if he pulled a huge turnaround, he could be seen as, awesome. If he's like, guys, I've really, thought about it, and I'm going to help, and then he starts doing, helpful stuff.
Yeah.
Because, tons of people have talked shit about Mexicans.
Right.
Like politicians, tons.
Right.
They can't, I think the hit out on him is, I don't
Just
even
this
know if that's
barber.
real.
Yeah.
Do you think that's real?
I
Or do you
don't
think
know.
that's weird PR? He's like Kanye, he's a white Kanye West in that sense, where he wants people to hate him. That's his business plan.
I love Kanye West.
Yeah, I mean,
love how crazy he is. I really do.
He's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
the same with Trump. They both just say crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't hate Trump, because I just think he's so nuts.
Yeah, I don't think he's an evil man.
No.
I just think he's
really losing it.
he's just unaware of his, who he is. His dad was worth $300 million, and he has this whole Horatio Algiers vibe, pick up by your bootstraps. It's like, you were born with a silver spoon,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah.
I know people born rich and they're great people. I'm not saying money makes you bad, but you can't pretend that you are self-made.
Right.
Just own that you're rich. You were born rich.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Would you rather have Nicolas Cage as your life coach,
Okay.
or for the rest of forever, Nickelback is the only music you could ever hear again?
Cage. I want him to be my life coach anyway, and I hate Nickelback. I want Cage to give me advice, except for, real estate in New Orleans.
No, you have to take his advice, though.
Oh, you have to take his advice?
You have to take his advice.
Ah. So I have to do what Nicolas Cage tells me to do?
You have to, yeah.
If
And you have to look at his life choices, too, and think about that.
But maybe he's good at giving advice. He just can't follow it. See, basically, it's like, would you rather be a slave or listen to Nickelback? I'd go Nickelback, because I'd be a slave. I'd have to do what somebody told me all the time.
Well, no, but you have to.
Yeah.
You can't be going elsewhere for advice. He's your life coach.
Okay.
This is who you're listening to. No, you don't have to do everything he says, but this is like your trusted guru, Nicolas Cage.
And it's assumed that I believe in what he's saying.
Right, exactly,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
I gotcha. So would you rather listen to Nickelback the rest of your life or have horrible decision-making process?
Right. And when I say Nickelback is the only music you can hear, I mean that's it. You go into a market and that's
you gotta
what's
go
playing.
Cage. I'd go Cheeto Fingers over that.
Okay.
That sounds insane. I'd go crazy. I'd just start freaking out.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Last one. Do you know who Lou Gehrig is?
Of course.
Okay. Would you rather be as famous as Lou Gehrig, or be so fucked up that they name a disease after you?
I'd want a disease named after me.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think that's the way.
But but you have huge balls. It's that's called the Owen. It's like Owenism. It's like if someone has enlarged testicles.
Isn't that elephantitis?
No, but specific. It's not to a bad degree. It's like someone who's overly fertile.
Okay. That's,
It's like,
We named it here.
doctor, I've been launching huge loads. It's like, what is it? They're like, Owenism.
Yep.
It's like, what is that? It's like, it means you just have huge balls that are really effective.
yeah. Well, we named it here. It's great. AfterBuzz exclusive.
What disease would you want named after you?
That's tough. I don't know. I just know that I would rather have the disease name after me than
Yeah.
yeah.
I want a disease named after me.
Yeah.
That's now a Nicolas Cage life goal.
You should go see a doctor and just get a full body scan, allergist, all of it. Just see.
And just see if I have something.
Do I have something wrong with
An
me?
anomaly.
Yeah.
I'm like, a cock's supposed to get this big?
Well, folks, he goes back on tour beginning September 21st.
I'm always kind of touring.
You're always kinda
yeah, like
okay.
kind of. Like every month there's something going on.
Well, the website says, check the website for showtimes and tickets.
OwenBenjamin.com.
OwenBenjamin.com.
Twitter.
Yes.
Twitter's the best one, though.
At Owen Benjamin.
Yeah.
Check out the new movie, Staten Island Summer.
Yeah.
Available on Amazon.
Yeah.
Next Rate Burger premieres on Esquire tonight, July 21st at 10, 9 Central. Watch it and look out for his upcoming hour-long special, Huge Pianist. What did I miss?
You're a great interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. What else? Where can the people find you? Just at Owen Benjamin?
Yeah, in LA, definitely follow me on Twitter because I do sets here a lot. I'm trying to not tour as much as I used to like, replant myself home.
Yeah.
I was always gone. For a while, I would just be like touring nonstop, but now I'm in LA a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We get to have you home.
Yeah,
So.
I'm home.
Awesome. And you can follow me at Koppel from Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Be sure to check out our other interviews at Spotlight On. Check out AfterBuzz TV, Popcorn Talk, Black Hollywood Live. Thanks for joining us.
Sweet.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.